Alrighty, fellow travelers, welcome back to the Adventures of a Traveling Don. And today we are continuing our journey to Alaska, and we are here in Salt Lake City. I'm actually visiting a few cousins of mine, and we are going to go around the city and explore it because I have not been to Salt Lake City in 19 years. That is half my life. I'm now 38 as of filming this. And it has been a long time since I've been here. And I know a lot has changed with the city. So let's go out there and check it out. So big shout out, by the way, for any of the places, particularly food-wise, that we go to in this video. My cousin Josh, who is hosting me, he's the one that kind of pointed all these places out. So he's local, been here for a long time. Now, we're going to go ahead and try. We are at a place called Sweet Lake, and this is a biscuit shop. Biscuits and limeade is what they're known for. So I went ahead and got myself a nice, refreshing-looking mint limeade. It's huge, too. But we're going to go ahead and try this real quick. What a way to start a morning. Pucker up, baby. That is definitely got a lot of tartness to it, but even so, like the mint, very refreshing. A little sweet on the back end. Very nice. Now we just wait for the biscuits. I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't know where to start with this thing. I mean, this is huge. So it's the homemade biscuits with, basically, I got the basic B, because I am a basic B today. And it's got sausage, over medium egg with cheddar cheese and sausage gravy on the bottom. And it's like, this is just, it's a massive meal. This is not something I can just take with, my hands and eat. I mean, I could, but it'd be messy. So we're just going to kind of like dig into this. Get some of that gravy on there. Come on. Good Lord. There's just so much to it. So go ahead and try that. I was bigger brother than I wanted. That is so good. Absolutely delicious. It's huge. There's a lot going on here. But, man alive. This is a really good breakfast sandwich. Wow. So after breakfast, I figured I'd come and get some coffee at a separate spot, mainly because, I had the limeade over at Sweet Lakes, and we're here at a place called Publix, and this is off of Southwest Temple and Fayette, and I'm guessing this is kind of like a warehouse district or an old warehouse district, because a lot of places that are taken up, like an antique shop, and then here, which is a coffee and roastery house, they're in kind of like these old big warehouses. This one's actually really cool. You can actually see them working on the coffee through the windows in the back, and they make some great looking coffee here, as you can see. Nice cappuccino for you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and try this real quick. See how it tastes. Very nice, not bad. But yeah, they make pretty much all of their, they roast all the beans here in-house. You can watch them work. I think they've also got food, some beer, alcohol, stuff like that. But, it's mainly known for its coffee, and it's a great workspace. Like, given the amount of seating that they have here, and like almost everybody that I see is either in a little kind of like a little meeting, or they're on their computers just kind of going away or whatever they're working on. So yeah, if you're looking for a workplace and a little coffee here when you're in Salt Lake City, Publix is a nice spot. So one thing I highly recommend when you are in Salt Lake City, and this even goes back to, I remember when I was here, is the outdoors. Whether that is going up into the mountains, and that's not a very long drive to get to some of the early trails that are close to Salt Lake City. There's actually some trails that lead from the city up into the hills. But
you also have plenty of parks around Salt Lake City, including Liberty Park, where we are at one of the larger parks within the city bounds itself. And it's got plenty of things to check out. It has like a little small amusement park that's open, I think, Monday through Thursdays. It's closed on filming on a Friday. But, you know, if you're here with the family, with the kids, you take them and let them ride a few rides. There's a lot of different places around it, of course. Huge park for you to just kind of roam. Basketball, tennis courts, things like that. But they also, on the south end of Liberty Park, have the Aviary, which we're at right now. So the Tracy Aviary here at Liberty Park is one part aviary where you can come and see the many different types of birds, both from the local area as well as from around the world, as well as a botanical garden, because the way that they set this up, it absolutely gorgeous. It's not just to come and look at the birds. It's almost like being within kind of like a local gardens as well. So it's really kind of cool. All the different types of, particularly like the owl forest is really, really cool. But all the different types of birds that they have a lot of conservation classes and things like that, things to learn about birds, how to take care of them, particularly birds that maybe, you know, get hurt while in the wild and they come and, you know, they recoup here or in other institutions. So there's a lot to learn here, particularly if you're bringing the family, you're bringing the kids, something for them to really dive into. But it is a really cool spot. You know, it's a decent size. You know, you could probably spend at least a couple hours here if you're really kind of delving into all of it. But beautiful, beautiful spot. And it's about $15 for admission for adults. Kids are obviously much cheaper. But anyway, enjoy the rest of the tour of the aviary. So our next spot here in Salt Lake City is something that's probably not going to be on any official tour, and that is going to be the Salt Lake Whale. So that rainbow-looking whale behind me was installed in April of 2022, and it actually had quite a bit of controversy because this whole like 9th and 9th neighborhood where 1100 East and Harvey Milk Boulevard is, there actually used to be a different kind of set of, I think it was like some gnome sculptures that, you know, the locals around here in the neighborhood had kind of set up. And when they took that down and put up the whale, there's a lot of controversy behind it when they put it up in April of 2022. However, the following winter of 2022-2023, they had record snow in the mountains for, you know, all the skiing and snowboarding and stuff. So it kind of became almost like a symbol of, you know, something new, something fresh, and of course, revitalizing the snow here in Salt Lake City and in the mountains particularly, where people went to go ski for a fantastic season. So it's kind of fascinating. There's actually a Church of the Whale as well. You can go online, I swear to God. They have their own like commandments and everything else. It's a little weird. It's a little interesting. But, you know, most of their kind of tenets are all about basically protecting the planet and things like that, working with nature and stuff. So it is kind of cool. You can definitely go check it out. I know that I think on at least on their website, they said they've got like 17 million followers worldwide. I mean, that's quite a following. But anyway, yeah, it's a cool statue and a fascinating little story. So So the next park that we're visiting here is Memory Grove Park. And this is basically just below from the hills you can see the Utah State Capitol behind me. But it is a large linear park where you basically, the trails eventually end up heading up into the mountains. So if you're looking to go for hiking, not just walking, this is a great starting point. And then you can kind of hit the hills from here that separate Salt Lake and North Salt Lake with Bountiful. And I think you can even diverge off into the mountains. So you can make a whole day of hiking and starting here. It is a beautiful park. It's got the stream that kind of runs right through it. And then, of course, it has all of these memorials to Utah, citizens of Utah that have fought in the different wars, World War I, II, Korea, things like that. So that's where the Memory Grove sort of comes from, the name. But even still, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous park. Definitely want to check it out. And it's right next to the Capitol. You can take trails from the Capitol all the way down here, or you can park just outside the gates, walk in, and then you can even walk up to the Capitol if you want. So there's a lot of things to do here in Memory Grove Park if you so wish to visit another beautiful park here in Salt Lake City. So the next spot we are visiting here in Salt Lake City, as Salt Lake is the capital of Utah, had to come to the Capitol building itself. Absolutely gorgeous structure. I believe it was started in 1912. So Utah was admitted as a state in January 4 of 1896. And it was around 1912 that the governor at the time was like, wait a second. We are one of the few states that have been so far admitted that doesn't have a state capital. So they commissioned it, and about 4 years later, I think it was October 9th of 1916, was when they officially opened the doors to the Utah State Capitol here. It was renovated in 2004, from 2004 to 2008, in kind of that Corinthian neoclassical style. So it's really kind of cool. I love it. I'm partial to my reddish more building, or the blue building in Denver, or the blue Capitol building in Denver, or in Austin, the red. But even still, rather majestic. And I honestly got to say, you cannot beat the views, particularly from the top step. When you go up to the top step, the views that you see from around the valley here is absolutely gorgeous. Now let's go see if we can get inside and maybe kind of check out what the interior of the Capitol building looks like. So I think one of the biggest things that I really kind of enjoy about going to state capitals or even like Capitol buildings in other countries is not only the history of the building itself, but a lot of times they put in the history of the country, at least from the foundation of when that building was created, or even like the history of the state. So like here in the Rotunda, they've got a lot of great artwork about the history from westward expansion, and of course the meeting with tribal Native Americans. Of course, that didn't always go very well, but even still, like the artwork in and of itself, expressing kind of the history that kind of came from it all, it is fascinating to see. And yeah, I mean, the structure here is really nice. It's actually very open. You get a lot of sunlight through the windows up above. It's a little bit more bright than even like the Texas one or even the Colorado one. I remember the Denver one was actually kind of like, it was a little bit more of like a darker feel to it. Whereas in here, it's very bright and very, almost very vibrant. So definitely worth the check out. I wish I could have given you like a full kind of like Rotunda little swirl action, but unfortunately the Rotunda itself, the ground floor, is being used for a wedding. So if you want to have your wedding in a Capitol building where they rope off the center part for you, and then you have a bunch of numpties like me coming through here, and everybody's staring at your wedding in the middle of a rotunda, that's up to you. You can apparently do that. I've never seen a wedding inside of a rotunda of a Capitol building. It is fascinating. Oh, and they're also trying to have... I just saw some people cut right through the wedding. Some tourists. I'm like, oh man, that is funny. So I don't know if I'd ever do that myself personally, but even still, very, very beautiful building. The interior, absolutely fantastic. All right, so after all the walking around in the parks and, of course, going to the state capitol, now it's time for a little bit of lunch. So we're going to go ahead. We're at a place called Foodie Sweetie D Market. This is kind of like a little hidden street right off of D Street. And you can get a dim sum kind of 5 combo for it's like $14. So we're going to go ahead and start with these first 3 right here. And I got my, of course, pork bun is probably generally one of my favorites when I go to dim sum in general. So as you can see right here, there you go. And we're going to try it with a little chili oil. Great pork bun. So number 2 is the soup dumpling. So we're going to try their soup dumpling real quick. Get some of that. Oh, that broth was really, really nice. And then we'll just go ahead and pull off there for you. Oh, hi. Ha, ha. Great flavor to that. Really, a really good soup dumpling. Dim sum item number 3, the egg custard. So, looks nice. Let's just go ahead and bite into this. It's actually rather gooey inside. Check that out. I was expecting it. I don't know what I was expecting. But that kind of you gotta watch yourself when you take a bite of that, because that almost just basically went everywhere. Very nice. Lightly sweet. Very eggy, obviously, but great egg custard. All right, so number 4 is going to be the pork shumai for you there. So we'll take that, and then they gave me this kind of ginger and vinegar sauce to go with that. So try this real quick. I don't have a big enough mouth for that. It's actually packed with the pork and the shrimp. Very, very good. I'll give me some good pork shumai. That's nice. All right, so for the 5th item, shrimp dumpling. Try this real quick. These dumplings are huge. Shrimp dumplings and Little My Guy are probably my 2 favorite. That and the barbecue pork buns are probably actually my 3 favorite items for dim sum, and it's just fantastic. This has all been really good, and like I said, you get 5 individual things, and you pick and choose from, I think it's 7 or 8, and that's kind of the basic package, and it's $14. They've been around for about 5 years, and like I said, they're this little hidden gem just off of D Street, and you can't find a better deal when it comes to dim sum like that. It's just, at least, here in Salt Lake City, really, really nice, cozy little spot. Fantastic stuff. All right, so obviously when you think of Salt Lake City, more than anything, what's kind of the top of your list is obviously the capital and the home of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or as we know it, the Mormon Church. Now, the name Mormon is actually an informal nickname for the church, based off of Prophet Mormon, who wrote the Book of Mormon. But most Mormons like to be known as Latter-day Saints. Just a little tidbit for you. Something history-wise for you, by the way, for me personally, I actually was born and raised in the Church of Latter-day Saints. I don't follow any church nowadays, but from my first kind of 12 years of my life, I went to pretty much the local Mormon church wherever we lived, depending on where we moved from Mom's job in the Air Force. But even still, it's it's a little interesting, just kind of to come, as they say, come home, shall you say. But this is, of course, where the headquarters is. You have the main offices. We have the temple behind me. That temple is actually, I think, under renovation right now, so it's temporarily closed for me. I have been in there. It's been about since I lived here for a year back in 2005-06, so it's been about 19 years since I've been inside. Beautiful as when it comes to architecture, and particularly when you go into like the tabernacle and stuff, the acoustics is fantastic. It's top line, but it is a beautiful setup that they have here in kind of the gardens, and then of course the temple square. So definitely worth a checking out, even if you don't follow the faith. Definitely come and check out. Great architecture, beautiful gardens, nice thing to just kind of walk through. And of course, again, it is one of the most iconic buildings, and really not just buildings in Salt Lake City. Now, if you're not into going through the parks or going and seeing all the great buildings around here, and you're more into the shopping kind of thing, well, City Creek Center is where you want to come. This actually was built in 2012, long after I had left. So the last time I was here, kind of like the hip place to go was the Gateway. Nowadays, the City Creek Center is where it's at. And honestly, this is my first time here. This is really, really cool. So they made kind of like this man-made city, like literally a city creek that runs all the way through it. I think it's like 23 acres worth of shops and offices and restaurants. You name it. It's the kind of like upscale generic brand stores that you see in almost any kind of really nice shopping center. But it is still really kind of cool what they did with this whole space. I can't even remember what all of this area was beforehand. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, what they've done with it since is fantastic. Another thing I would also mention is getting around Salt Lake City downtown, pretty easy. Number one, it's all pretty compact. You can walk most of it. But if you need to get around in a more efficient way, they also do have a great metro system, like a above ground light rail system. Highly recommend getting that. It's relatively inexpensive, but yeah. City Creek Center. Well done, guys. All right, guys, so to cap this video off for dinner, we're here at a place called Red Iguana. And there's actually a couple of them around town now. They've been around since 1985, and they're basically known as the best Mexican restaurant in Salt Lake City area. Take that to the bank and for what you say, but they'd been in the paper and there was a line out the door. We waited for about half an hour to get in. And I can tell you right now, first off, the food looks fantastic. I got myself some enchiladas. This is enchiladas amarillas, which is basically 2 corn tortilla enchiladas with pork carnitas, along with a little bit of, I think it's a traditional amarilla sauce that they use on top of that, melted jack cheese, and of course crema mexicana. You get a little side of the rice and the beans to go with that. But we're gonna dig into these enchiladas. So I haven't had a good enchilada in a little while, and we're gonna just look at that. Carnitas are fantastic. The sauce has got a nice spice. Actually, it's got a little bit of little sweetness to that as well. Ooh, that spice is actually really starting to kick in. That's got some really, really good heat. But there's almost a little lingering sweetness, almost like there's a little bit of yellow pepper in there, and maybe a little bit of almost like some like cashew and nuttiness to it as well. But absolutely fantastic. Yeah, if you're looking for a great kind of like Mexican dinner, Red Iguana or even Red Iguana 2, fantastic spot. And the vibe is just really kind of cool. All right, to travel down, so that's going to be the end of our Salt Lake City video. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour. I'm actually just about to leave for Montana. So the next video will be Yellowstone. So stay tuned for all of that. I'm super, super excited about this. But anyway, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. And of course, if you like the video, give it a big old thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you know that when any of the new videos come out. And of course, if you want to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon page and a Buy Me a Coffee account. And remember, if you're looking to book any place here around the Salt Lake City, Utah area, definitely check out planning.com. And of course, if you are looking for some merch, I do have, of course, an Etsy store with all of our great t-shirt merch and a couple of other goodies as well. So, but anyway, guys, until we meet again, see you in Yellowstone. Peace out. Have a great night.